The old coot coming at you with another exciting video. There's a penny and a quarter for comparison's sake. And this is probably not the biggest hail in the world, obviously. That got frozen solid in there. But anyways, it just hailed here in Los Angeles. Hail Caesar. Whatever jokes you want to crack. And this is actually after it melted a little bit too. I had to run back outside, grab some hail and drag it in here so I could show you all without, you know, my neighbors yelling at me for filming videos in the street, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, here's what happened. So hail, I believe this is my unprofessional opinion. I believe what happens is you get a water droplet that falls gravity right through the clouds and it freezes because the air is so cold. But what happens is because of these thunderstorms, there's actually an updraft of cold air that pushes it back up again. And what happens is when it gets too heavy, right, and or the wind shifts or whatever, basically that droplet falls again and it keeps refreezing. So it's kind of like an onion or like an old school jawbreaker, if you remember those, where it just keeps going through this loop cycle. And the more it does that, obviously, the bigger and bigger and bigger the hail gets. So that's what happened. That's how big the hail was here in Los Angeles. And it was crazy. It was like, it wasn't sunny, but it was kind of like cloudy and a little overcast, like not even overcast, but just, you know, those big puffy cartoon-like clouds. And then all of a sudden it just started dumping rain. Like we're like the strongest, wettest rain in intensity for like 5 minutes. And then what happened was just as fast as it started, it's like somebody took a faucet and just shut it off. And the rain stopped, like quick. We're talking like there wasn't a slow decline or anything. It was pretty quick. And then all of a sudden, here, let me shut this off real quick. Otherwise we're going to get a beeping noise. So anyways, what ended up happening was after like another 2 or 3 minutes, boom, the hail started. And it was this size, right? Some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces for at least 2 to 3 minutes of just constant. And it was like being shot with a bunch of like little snow peas or whatever, you know, whatever you can imagine, just like dumping hail for 2 to 3 minutes straight. And it was loud and it was just banging into the walls and the roof and the ceiling and everything. So then after 2 or 3 minutes, again, just as fast as it started, it's like somebody went and shut it off. So I think from what I can gather, this is my unprofessional opinion, I believe as the weather system moved through, the winds were pushing the rain at first. Then as the bulk of the clouds passed over the area, it stopped. And then at the tail end of the storm clouds and the thunderstorms that were coming through, that's where all the hail was. Because after the hail, there was no rain. It was just hail and then it stopped and that's it. So if you look now in the skies above Los Angeles, it's again those cartoony, patchy clouds that are just there. So it's not exactly clear and sunny or anything. It's kind of like patchy. There's some sunny spots, but there's those cartoon kind of clouds. And anyways, that's the result of what happened. I tried to throw this in the freezer as fast as I could just to save it all before it melted, like the one in the cup that I showed you earlier. But that is just crazy. And then, so the irony is if you take one of these, like this happened in the cup and I couldn't grab my camera fast enough, but if you take one of these little hail droplets and you cut it in half, you'll see rings. You'll see rings of like, you know, the rings of Saturn. Basically all those layers of every time the droplet went up and down through the atmosphere. So it goes up, it freezes, gravity takes over or the wind shifts, it falls back down to earth and it refreezes again, and it just keeps adding moisture in layers like an onion, basically. And that's what hail is. That's what it looks like. That's what causes it. And that's usually how it goes. So obviously the more, as mentioned before, the more it goes through that cycle of going up and going back down and going back up and going back down, the bigger the hail gets. You know, I've heard of people having golf ball size hailstones. I've heard of people saying, you know, it's the size of like an orange or a tangerine. So it all depends where you live, where in the world you are, what the storm system is like, this clashing of warm, moist air with cold air, you know, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, hope this video out there helps someone, you know, if you're doing a project for school or whatever and you just want to know more about it, or you just want to be more informed. Hopefully this video helped you. Anyways, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down there below. I'm the old coot. I want to make sure I refreeze this for later diabolical purposes, and I will catch you all in the next exciting video.